Hi, my name is Renee Dawson, and this is my capstone project video for my capstone project, Virtual Classroom Access for Homebound Students, for the Instructional Technology Educational Specialist Program at Kennesaw State University. My research project was conducted in spring of 2015. My research project looked at virtual access for students who are being served through Homebound. Why was I interested in researching this? Well, with the increase in medical technology, there are more medically fragile students living longer, and these students have to attend school by law. And the law states that they can attend school even if they have medical procedures that need to be completed during the day, as long as those procedures can be completed by a nurse or by a person who is trained and supervised by a nurse. This is the disability category I serve in the school system, and I serve about 32 students with medically fragile conditions, and I work with several students in the home setting, providing their instruction and in their home because they are too sick or too medically fragile to attend school. And this instruction can take place for short-term purposes or for long-term purposes. In this project, we're going to be talking about students with chronic or terminal illnesses. So it's very important that you understand what a chronic illness is and what a terminal illness is, because they are two different things. A chronic illness is a permanent or long-term issue that affects daily life. Something like asthma, diabetes, some cancers, cerebral palsy, spina bifida, things that you can live with but will affect your life long term. A terminal illness is a permanent medical issue that eventually causes death. These are things like the certain types of cancer that will cause death, cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, spinal muscular atrophy, and other types of diseases that will eventually lead to death. There are over 1 million children ages 5 through 17 that are hospitalized each year in the United States. These children are missing school every time they're hospitalized. Some of these students, especially ones with disorders like cancer or cystic fibrosis, are missing large chunks of school each time they're hospitalized. So as teachers, we need to be cognizant of this and be aware that even when these students are missing school, they need to receive the instruction in a similar manner that their non-disabled peers are able to receive in the school setting. This study was a quantitative study, and I used a survey. The survey was titled Perceptions on Training and Use of Homebound Instruction, and then another survey on video conferencing. The two surveys came from two separate dissertations, and I wanted to combine these two surveys in my study because I was really interested in seeing how teachers were perceiving their training and their use of homebound instruction, but then also have these same teachers complete a survey explaining their feelings and perceptions of video conferencing. The Perceptions on Training and Use of Homebound Instruction survey was created by Dr. Pettit out of Azusa State University in California, and she did a similar study to this, but she just looked at the perceptions in training. She didn't look at video conferencing. The video conferencing study was taken from Dr. Stallman, and he studied at Ohio State University. The research questions I had for this study were questions that I wanted to know from the results of my survey and from looking at the literature about homebound students. There were three research questions. How do teachers perceive homebound instruction? Is virtual classroom access a viable option for these students? And do teachers that work with these students have the necessary training? The survey was sent via email to 50 teachers. The teachers that received the survey or teachers that are part of the Georgia Orthopedic Impairment Teacher Consortium. And these are teachers throughout the state of Georgia that have experience with homebound students and homebound instruction. These are teachers all over the state of Georgia that work with kids with chronic and terminal illnesses and have been through a certification program in order to do so. So I wanted to see if the certification programs that teachers for students with orthopedic impairments are enrolled in and have been enrolled in are preparing them for homebound instruction with these students once they're in the school system. And out of the 50 teachers that the survey was sent to, 20 teachers responded and 18 teachers had experience with hospital homebound students. So 2 of the teachers were not able to complete the remainder of the survey once it asked if they had experience with hospital homebound students. The survey was sent out through Google Forms, and the results were collected and analyzed in Google Forms as well. So what did the survey show us? The survey was interesting. I expected to see some results that I did not see, and I saw some results that I did expect to see. So it was very interesting for me to review the results because I was a little bit surprised with some of the ways people answered. Teachers said that they do not have adequate training, that their pre-teaching certification programs and their school system or their current job title have not given them the training that they feel like they need to give these students the best education possible. The teachers said that they do have guidelines from their school district on hospital homebound instruction. This is good news. This means that the school districts in the state of Georgia do have guidelines for teachers to follow for hospital homebound instruction. They do have somebody running that instruction. They have somebody there to help them, somebody there to ask questions. Now, whether or not that person is qualified, they did not answer a question based on that, so I am not able to answer that. The teachers do feel that they're qualified to provide services, and by services, I mean the same services that they would provide in the school setting. They feel like they are qualified to teach, they are qualified to help support IEP goals, to help support educational goals, to help support therapy goals, and to help work with these students. The teachers also felt that it is a positive and successful experience for the student. They felt that even though these students are at home, that being able to have that connection to the teacher and that connection to their school through the teacher is a positive and successful experience for the student. Even though it's a positive and successful experience for the student, the teachers said that they do feel that homebound instruction is a restrictive environment. And with education, we know, especially with special education, that we are to provide education in the least restrictive environment for a student. So what a lot of these teachers are seeing, and what I see a lot with my students, is that I have students that are in general education settings. They're in general classrooms with 20 to 30 other students. But when they're homebound, they're by themselves. They no longer have that peer group. They no longer have a time to interact with non-disabled peers. So by being at home and being homebound, they're in a more restrictive environment. So we need to look at this in order to make sure that students are receiving appropriate services in accordance with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. With video conferencing, the teachers that were surveyed did have a desire to use video conferencing with their students. The districts have the ability to use video conferencing. However, all of the teachers surveyed felt that they would require more training in order to use video conferencing with their homebound students. Why was this study significant? This study is significant because it helped to raise awareness for these students and the teachers that work with them. It showed the importance of teacher preparation programs to include training for working with hospital homebound students. For all teacher preparation programs, special education, orthopedically impaired, elementary, middle grades, high school. Teacher preparation programs should prepare these teachers to work with these students. The use of video conferencing could help to fill this gap that we're seeing with restrictive environments and services being provided and teachers not feeling like they're trained. If we could use video conferencing with these students, we could help them participate in their classroom environment even though they are at home. There's a picture here of a robot. This robot is called a Vigo, and it is a robot that can be operated remotely but can be driven around a classroom. And there's a webcam on the robot, and there is a webcam that the student is using from home. And that student is able to interact in his classroom or her classroom, roll around school, be with the peers, be in the classroom, talk to the teacher, participate in class discussions from home. So that is what I wanted to look at, is this technology that we are seeing being used with medical technology and with office technology. Is this something that we could see in the future being beneficial to students who are unable to attend school? The future of this study would be another study on use of video conferencing with these students, looking at students who are currently using video conferencing to participate in classrooms. I know there are several in different parts of the country that use Vigo robots or something similar to the Vigo robot in order to participate in their classroom. So how is video conferencing helping these students? Is it helping them interact with their peers? Is it helping them feel like more a part of their school community when they're homebound? Is it helping their achievement at all? Is it helping their depression? Those kinds of things I would like to see in a future study. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed the results of my capstone study.